So let us see naive-Bayes classifier today. It is based upon a supervised learning algorithm. And this naive-Bayes classifier is based on the Bayes theorem, which we have already seen in the last class. And you know what is the meaning of supervised learning algorithm? We will be given with the set of training examples, and those training examples will also be having the labels. And with the help of the labels, we are going to predict what will be the future outcome whenever a new sample is given to us. And this is a classification problem. So you already know what is the difference between regression problem and classification problem. In case of regression problem, we are going to predict continuous values at the output, whereas in case of classification problem, we are going to predict discrete values like class labels, maybe yes or no, or otherwise having disease or not having disease, and so on. And now let us understand the problem statement here. So this naive-Bayes classifier is applied to learning task where every instant, that is nothing but record X, is described by a conjunction of attribute value. We are going to predict the target function f of X, and this target function can take any value from some finite set of V. So because of that only, we are saying that this is a discrete classification problem. It is not going to predict continuous values. It is going to predict only discrete values. So they are from finite set of values which are in the set V. And a set of training examples for the target function is provided. So from the training example only, our algorithm is going to learn. And after it is learning the things, if a new instance is presented to the algorithm, we are going to present the new instance by means of the tuple of attribute values like A1, A2, AN. These are the attribute values. So when the new instance is presented to the algorithm, we have to ask the algorithm what will be the outcome for this particular new instance. So the learner is asked to predict the target value or classify the target for that particular new instance. And this Bayesian approach to classifying the new instance is to assign the most probable target value V map given the attribute values A1, A2, etc., AN. So first we should understand the assumptions made by naive-Bayes. So here, this is the first example we are going to see today. It is a car data set. So in this, some features are given like color, type, and then origin of a certain number of samples. We have totally 10 samples. For all the 10 samples, these features are given, and you have to predict whether that particular car will be stolen or not. So the last is the target class, which is having two values, stolen or not stolen. Okay, so here we have three features in this particular data set. They are color, type, and then origin. And this stolen is the target class. That is the outcome we want to predict. In case of naive-Bayes, it is going to use some assumptions. Based upon the assumption only, the algorithm is going to work. It is having two assumptions. The first assumption is the features you are using in our data set are independent. You know what is the meaning of independent? In the last class, I told in the probability, when you have two events, if the outcome of one event is not going to affect the outcome of the other event, that is the probability of one event is not going to affect the probability of the other event, we will say they are independent event. Okay, here we have features, three features. Only these features are going to predict your output. Okay, so here this algorithm is making assumption that the features of our data set are independent. So no pair of features are dependent. For example, if you consider that in the color column, we have red. Okay, and then in the type column, we have certain variables like a sports SUV. In the origin column also, we have domestic importer and so on. Okay, so what is the meaning of this particular statement is the color being red has nothing to do with the type or origin of the car. That is, one feature is not going to affect the other feature. Okay, that is the first assumption we are going to make. And the second assumption is each feature contributes equally to the outcome. So here, the meaning is every feature is given the same importance. We are not going to say that the color is having higher weight value when compared to type. Like if my car is red color, irrespective of the type of the car, somebody is going to steal it. It is not like that. All the features are given the same importance. For example, knowing only the color and type alone cannot predict the outcome perfectly. So none of the attributes are irrelevant and all are assumed to be contributing equally to the outcome. So these are the two important assumptions made by the naive-Bayes. With this assumption only, we are going to continue now. Now let us see why the algorithm is called as naive-Bayes. So here we have two different terms in this. One is name and the other is Bayes. Why this name is given to this particular algorithm? The first is naive. It is called naive because the assumptions made by the naive Bayes are generally not correct in real world situation. Like we are assuming that the features are independent of each other and all are having equal importance. But that is not true in real world situations. And the second term is Bayes. It is called Bayes because for its working, it depends upon the principle of Bayes theorem. Now let us understand the steps involved in the naive Bayes classifier. So it is purely based upon the probability, whatever we have seen yesterday. Let me summarize the steps now. The first step is you should know what is the Bayes theorem. According to Bayes theorem, you can calculate the posterior probability P of y given x is equal to P of x given y into P of y divided by P of x. So now try to understand what are the variables x and y indicate. So here variable y is the class variable that represents your outcome. So in the particular example I have chosen, my outcome is whether the car is stolen or not, given certain conditions. The variable x represents the features of the data set. So sometimes you will have one feature, sometimes you will have many features also. So in real world data set, we will have as many features as required to describe the outcome uniquely. So here capital X represents set of features. So it is represented as x1, x2, x3, etc. up to xn, where n represents number of features in our data set. Then once this is given, you have to now substitute this x with this set. So we will have now probability of y given x1, x2, etc. xn is equal to, now here you can consider this, the first term is P of x given y. Okay, so now we have assumed that the variables are the attributes are independent of each other. And also we have seen the independent event. In case of independent event, P of A intersection B is written as P of A into P of B. That is multiplication of individual probabilities. Now in naive Bayes, we have the assumption that the features are independent of each other. So for this particular term, even though we have so many features in X, we are going to make use of that assumption and we are going to write the probabilities as multiplication of individual probabilities. Now, instead of P of capital X given Y, I am going to substitute with individual features. So it's nothing but P of x1 given y, P of x2 given y, P of xn given y. Then the second term is P of y that you can write here. And in the denominator, we have P of capital X. And again, since the features are independent of each other, I am going to substitute that with P of x1, P of x2, etc., P of xn. Okay, let us see the next step. So then for the given data set, the denominator does not change. It remains static. Why? If you see the denominator, I have P of x1, P of x2, etc., P of xn. It is nothing but once the data set is given to you, the probability of every attribute is not going to change. It is same because you know the data set. So since it is static, we are going to remove the denominator from our further consideration. So I'm going to write this step as P of y given x1, x2, etc., xn is directly proportional to, I have removed the denominator. Now look at the numerator, we have two terms. This P of y, I am going to take it outside. So I am writing P of y. And then if you look at the remaining terms, they are nothing but, in the first term, we have x1, in the second term, x2, in the last term, xn. And remaining is nothing but y only. And you are multiplying all the probabilities. So I am going to write P of xi given y, where this I varies from 1 to n. So I am writing I is equal to 1 to n. And what is this symbol indicates? Since I am multiplying the probability, it's nothing but multiplication of the product of all the terms. And this is the final equation now we have. Okay, so now if you consider this, y is nothing but our target class. The target class can have any number of outcomes. Like if it is binary classification problem, you will have either yes or no, 0 or 1, having disease or not having disease, and so on. Two classes you will have. If it is multi-class classification problem, you will have many number of classes. That is more than 2 classes in the outcome. Next, what you have to do is find the class variable y with maximum probability. The meaning is, if you have binary classification problem, find this probability for both the classes. One is the class S, another is class no. Once you find the probability for both the classes, next you have to find what is the class variable y which is having maximum probability. Okay, and for that we are going to substitute this. So if you see here, the same term I have written here. instead of I have added one more thing called argmax of y. That is nothing but if you have more than one classes, you are going to find the class with maximum probability. That is indicated by this particular term, argmax of y. It's nothing but for the variable y, I am taking the maximum probability value. That is my outcome now. So in case of naive-Bayes classifier, first you have to create a frequency table for the given attribute against the target. And after the frequency table is drawn, you have to find the likelihood table from the frequency table. The third step is you need to apply the Naive-Bayesian rule to calculate the posterior probability for each class in the target variable. And select the class with the highest posterior probability as the outcome of the prediction. So these are the 4 steps we have to follow in Naive-Bayes classifier.